So Jamal Niaz here for Seconds Out with Adam Smith. Busy day ahead of you, really. We've got two press conferences. Dillian Whyte versus Povetkin finalising the day. What a heavyweight matchup that is.
Yeah, fantastic. Can't wait for that. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. We're in the middle of a wonderful halcyon period in the heavyweight division. Alexander Povetkin, as we know, is a former Olympic champion, wonderful fighter through the years. Only a couple of losses to the great Vladimir Klitschko and, of course, Anthony Joshua at Wembley. Got that win, controversial win, out in Saudi over Michael Hunter. But we know what he can do. We know what he's aggressive. He's come forward. He's got a big left hook, and he always comes to fight. And I think the styles will gel brilliantly. It's a massive, massive opportunity this for Dillian Whyte 2020. I think he's been waiting and waiting for his chance too long, in my opinion. I think he's done everything that's been asked of him. Not just the wins over Chisora, but Parker and Lucas Brown, and the manner of victory. I think he should have had his world title opportunity well before this, but it's difficult at the top, and as we know, it's a great time for British boxing with TYSON FURY's huge win the other week in Vegas, which was fantastic to be at. The way he demolished Deontay Wilder, and of course Anthony Joshua's win out in Saudi means that all the belts are in Britain. So, we know that Joshua's going to fight Pulev next. We know that there'll be the trilogy with Wilder and Fury. So Dillian just needs to bide his time. He needs a really good performance here in May, and I think then he can be knocking at the door. And who knows, if they can't make the AJ Fury fight, then maybe we'll see AJ against Dillian in a third fight after their one amateur, one professional fight already, or maybe him with a chance at Fury, or if Wilder exact some sort of revenge, which seems unlikely, maybe that. But he's right in the mix, and Dillian will get his opportunity. He's got to keep winning. It's another big platform for him on Sky Sports box office, and it should make a fantastic fight. And I think that's great for all the fight fans.
There are so many storylines heading into this period of heavyweight super fights, really. Dillian Whyte had a really interesting chat with Sky Sports News last week, where that infamous laugh at Deontay Wilder's performance came about. That's become headline news, really. What have you made of Dillian Whyte's statement of, Eddie's always going to be looking at the money as a promoter when his feelings about Joshua Fury came out? Obviously, Dillian feeling he's been put to the back of that discussion. He brought up the idea, the period of when Don King walked out with Mike Tyson and left with Buster Douglas. He used that as an analogy. What did you make of that analogy?
Dillian always says what he believes. He speaks from the heart, and that's why people like him. He's got a growing fan base because of it. I think he had a stop-start 2019. The Oscar Rivas was a good win, but obviously we know about the issues that he had or had to deal with out of the ring after that, and it was good to get him back in Saudi. It wasn't a good performance in Saudi, but I think he just needed to be back out. I think 2020 is almost a fresh start for Dillian Whyte. I think he needs to really utilise this year as making the statements and backing up that. Look, he's going to have his fun and games with Wilder, isn't he? He called him out a lot, and he didn't get the chance, he didn't get the shot. So it's not surprising that there's a little bit of fun and games or bad attitude back towards him there. He's sort of must-see TV, isn't he, Dillian, in the ring and out of the ring? People are sort of hanging on what he says. So he's a real character. We have all talked about the Joshua Fury Wilder sort of triangle, but we need to be adding Dillian Whyte into the picture. There's the four of them. Reminds me a little bit of tennis when you had sort of Federer, Djokovic, Andy Murray, and Rafa Nadal, and then Murray sort of dropped out as the sort of fourth one. These guys are four top heavyweights. Dillian shook Anthony Joshua, but ultimately he lost to him in that British title fight, so it did put him back. But he's done everything asked of him since, and I think all he can do is continue to win in the ring on big shows, and he'll get his chance. And when he gets his chance, be it against Joshua, Fury, or Wilder, or somebody else, an Usyk, or someone else who comes through, then we'll see if he's good enough to become a world champion. I think that he is good enough to become a world champion. Would I say he would definitely beat Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder? No, but he has a chance with any of them. And I think that's the great thing about the heavyweight division. You know, we don't know. A lot of people thought Wilder would knock out Fury, or Fury went on points. Look what happened. You know, Fury said what he was going to do, and he ended up delivering exactly that. No one thought Anthony Joshua would lose to Andy Ruiz in the first instance. In the second one, it was a punch-perfect performance. So you never know with the heavyweights. But Dillian's got his opportunity to be back on a big card against a very, very good fighter in Alexander Povetkin. And if he can, you know, beat him sort of quicker than Anthony Joshua did, for example, that's a little message. But he just has to, for me, he has to keep busy, and he just has to get that opportunity at some point in the next, 10 to 12 months, hopefully.
Losses are almost guaranteed at some point in the heavyweight division, just for pure knockout power alone. Now, Deontay Wilder, obviously, he endured his first loss as a professional. Surprised at some people, as you said, but what was more surprising to a lot of people was his excuse, if you will, for his defeat. What did you make of it, and do you feel it has diminished him maybe even further than the performance alone?
I mean, I have personally not spoken to Deontay since the fight I was out in Vegas. We've enjoyed a really good relationship over the years. He's fought on Sky Sports a lot. He's a fighter. You know, he'll have been wounded. He'll have been really hurting. And whatever they come out with, the excuses, the only thing that really matters, I'm sure, to Deontay is getting back into the ring and trying to put that, in quotes, wrong right. I think rather than sort of looking at that, and yeah, we've all heard sort of bizarre things over the years in boxing. I was there when the fan man came into the ring in the middle of the Bo Holyfield 2 fight. I never thought I'd see anything like that again. Then, you know, you've had excuses over the years. I'm sure David regrets the little toe that he when he said that in the Vladimir Klitschko aftermath. But you know, they clutched onto something. You know, ultimately, he was beaten by the better man, Wilder, on that night. And will it happen again? We wait and see. But Tyson Fury is the one that should get credit. Most of us thought that, as I said, it would be Wilder by knockout or Fury on points. But he told us what was going to happen. Sugar Hill and Andy Lee, got him trained right. He had a great lot of sparring partners. I know fighters like Jordan Thompson and George Fox were in there. And I think that, he had obviously a cracking camp. But he took the risk and he went to Fury and he backed him up, he went to Wilder and he backed him up. And I think that's the difference. He mixed his skills up, which we knew he had, with strength and fighting on the inside too. His body shots were great. I thought it was an amazing performance by Tyson Fury, one of the great performances of all time that I've seen at ringside by a British fighter. I was lucky enough to commentate on when he beat Klitschko. But it's, again, it's right up there amongst the top few. Some were even calling it the best. So let's concentrate on what Tyson Fury's done a little bit more than Deontay Wilder's excuses. We had a whole load of conspiracy theories after Anthony Joshua lost to Andy Ruiz. What had gone wrong in the dressing room, what had happened to his dad, what had happened, was he knocked out in sparring, all these sort of things. People saying to me, I know that happened. I'm like, he lost. He lost to the better guy on the night. Did AJ make any excuses? No, he didn't. He went, got back to the drawing board and put it right. And for Team Wilder, that's what they need to try and do. There'll be big underdogs going into the trilogy fight in July. But Deontay Wilder hits harder than any heavyweight I've seen, probably since Mike Tyson, with that single right hand. You never know. That power won't go anywhere. It's just whether he can land. The odds are Fury will be very confident that he'll do a number on him again. And rematches can often go the same way. As we saw in Saudi, they can go very differently. Yeah. So we wait and see. But the most important thing for me is that the fight's on. It's on for July. We've got Joshua and Pulev at Tottenham, which is fantastic. What a showcase, what a stunning backdrop that's going to be. An amazing stadium. First time he's fought in Britain for almost a couple of years. And it's great that he'll be bringing the belts back. And the great thing, as Eddie said, is that the timings sort of coincide. June, July, they'll be ready for maybe December or possibly early in 2021 for the biggest fight I think we'll all have ever seen in Britain, Vegas, Saudi, wherever it lands, hopefully in the UK, because that will break all sorts of records.